Thank you for tuning in to MacroView Television and welcome to a brand new edition of Taiwan Outlook, the program that presents the different faces and lets you hear the different voices on Taiwan. I'm your host, Wu Ruiguo. Have you been to Tainan City lately? What is so different about Tainan City in the last few years? We're going to find out on today's program because we are delighted to have Mr. Liu Shih-Chung, who is currently the Deputy Secretary General of Tainan City Government, to be our special guest. Welcome to our program, Shih-Chung.
Well, it's good to see you again, Raymond, my good friend, Dr. Wu, and hello, everyone.
Okay, well, like I said, Tainan has got to be one of the most attractive cities in all of Taiwan. And I understand there's a lot of changes in the last few years in Tainan. And then can you tell us a little bit, what is so special about Tainan City and what are some of the progress that you're able to introduce to us in the recent years?
Yes. Again, this is a tremendous opportunity for me to introduce the new image of the great Tainan City. Let me just start by giving you some statistics.
Okay.
According to various surveys in Taiwan, in terms of city government or local government's performance, I think Tainan City, in the consecutive 5 years, have been ranked as a #1 city in Taiwan. And the incumbent mayor of Tainan City, Mayor Liu Shih-Chung, has also been voted as one of the best mayors of Taiwan. So I think this is something that the overall 1.8 million of Tainan citizens feel so proud of. This is not just the government's performance have won a nationwide recognition, but it was a collective effort made by the all Tainan City citizens. So we're so proud of being Taiwanese.
Okay, and given the fact that Tainan also has a very rich history, for example, we know that Tainan City has been given two, not just one, but two nicknames. We understand it's called Fucheng, or Prefecture City, but also some people call it affectionately the city, the Phoenix City, or Fenghuangcheng. Can you tell us why does Tainan City has two nicknames for people to follow by?
Yes, Tainan is the oldest city in Taiwan.
Okay.
More than 300 years ago, Tainan City has been the capital of Taiwan.
Yes.
So it earns a name as the oldest city, the Fucheng, the oldest city of Taiwan. And as for the nickname of a Phoenix City, there are two sorts of stories. One is that if you look at the Tainan City from above, Tainan City located in the greater Jianan Plain, Jianan Pingyuan. So if you look at, and on the east side, it's got mountains. On the west side, it's got oceans. So if you look at the Tainan City from above, you see it looks like a little bit like a phoenix with 7 or 8 small hills on the tail of the phoenix. So it looks like a phoenix. That's one story. Another story is that during the Japanese colonial period, the Japanese have planted a lot of phoenix trees in Tainan City. So when summer comes, you will see the blossom of the phoenix tree in almost every school, every university, especially the National Chenggong University in Tainan City. So I think that's how those nicknames come from.
Okay, and we also understand that Tainan has a somewhat very pleasant, but sometimes can be quite hot climate. Can you tell us what's the year-round climate of Tainan City?
Yeah, I would say in terms of temperature, Tainan City or the Greater Tainan City is the most livable city in Taiwan.
Yes.
Like I say, Tainan located in the Greater Jianan Plain. And so the average temperature of Tainan City is between 23 to 25 degrees. That's very friendly temperature. So a lot of people like to live in Tainan. Of course, summer we get a little bit hotter in summer, but I would say almost every season in Tainan City, people can enjoy the most livable temperature and environment.
Yes, and also one thing about the Greater Tainan City is you also have, the seafront, the beachfront on one side, and also going further inland that you can go up to the mountains. So that is a very unique combination in all of Taiwan.
Except Now,
Okay.
one of the saddest stories that in Tainan, there's no beautiful beach in Tainan
Okay,
City.
yeah, of course.
If we have more beach, that would make Tainan even perfect.
Okay. And Shih-Chung, we know many people will believe, will regard the city of Tainan as the most livable place, to live in Taiwan. And why is that? What are some of the unique and special characteristics of the city that you can share with us?
Well, as you mentioned earlier, Tainan is more than just the oldest city in Taiwan. It also possesses historical legacies as well as a lot of the old things in Tainan. And I think that's also one of the key policies that the incumbent Mayor Liu Shih-Chung have tried very hard to possess. That is, when it comes to the modernization of a city, usually it involves a lot of deconstruction.
Yes.
And but in Tainan, I think one of the centerpiece of Mayor Liu Shih-Chung's policy orientation is to have more reconstruction than deconstruction of those old things or historical things.
Yes.
Like just give you one example. We have tried very hard to possess the old buildings or old tourist sites.
Okay.
And we try to rejuvenate it. We try to reconstruct it and make it more attractive to the outsiders.
Good.
So we have put a lot of resources and manpower in terms of possessing the old things rather than just destroy it.
Okay. And we also understand that since the integration of the city and county of Tainan,
Yes.
There is also the ongoing, brand new city planning process.
Yes.
Can you share with us what are some of the projects or the plans being undertaken in Tainan?
Yes. Well, 5 years ago, there's a merger
Yes.
of the previous Tainan City, the smaller one, with the bigger one, the old Tainan County. Yes. This is a hard job for the current city government because we got more people, and then there's also a gap between city development. The Tainan City always enjoy more resources, but the older Tainan counties, it's bigger and more popular. Okay. We got more population, so the Tainan City in the past 4 and 5 years have worked very hard to lay the groundwork for the urban and rural development. Okay. So in addition to those ongoing construction sites that has been going on in the Tainan City, the Tainan City Mayor Liu Shih-Chung also have tried very hard to develop at least 7 to 10 new projects on the overall old Tainan counties. Okay. And a lot of them involved, like I said earlier, not just recreating new areas. It's more about taking advantage of the historical values of those old stuff, like old buildings or old areas, and turn that into the new areas. Because the old things has greater values, and that's how it attracts most people to go there. So I think there has been 7 to 8 to 10 projects that has been going on in the second term of Mayor Liu Shih-Chung, and we look forward to that.
Okay, and Tainan also maybe is one of the few places that actually you have more, a net plus of people immigrating to Tainan instead of leaving.
Yeah.
And given the fact that, you have all these, changes and developments going on, may I ask, what are some of the, projects, maybe more on the software side, that's able to attract even more people all over Taiwan or maybe even overseas wanting to come back to Tainan City and live?
Let me just give you one example in terms of the number of tourists come to Tainan.
All right.
From last October to April this year, the number of tourists come to Tainan has doubled than it was last year.
Okay.
I think that's the leverage that Tainan City can attract new people, new immigrant people to Tainan. For example, I've seen more and more young people. They used to work in Taipei, but they can afford to live and work in Taipei. They decided to move back to Tainan or migrate to Tainan. Yes. And they open up their tiny restaurants or hotel because they found opportunities in Tainan City with more and more tourists and foreign investors come to Tainan. And so that's the reason why Tainan City has been able to provide those incentives of economics to those outsiders. So we have seen more and more people that wanted to come to Tainan doing their business or even retire.
Yes.
They wanted to come to Tainan because, like I say, Tainan is a slow city.
Yes.
You know, it's a destination for travel light and also enjoy your tempo. You know, you don't have to get too so nervous in Taipei City or other metropolitan city.
Okay, and we know in order for Tainan to be even more active and also in terms of attractive to tourists, then important consideration is transportation.
Yes.
You do also have the Taiwan high-speed rail.
Yeah.
And also you have an airport.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what direct flights that you have available at the airport?
Yes.
Please.
Right now, in terms of attracting more foreigners to Tainan, yes. Since 2 years ago, there has been direct flight between Tainan City Airport and Hong Kong.
Hong Kong, good.
And starting this October, we're going to open up a new direct flight from Tainan City to Osaka. From Japan.
Okay, good.
Because Tainan City is also one of the favorite cities for the Japanese tourists too.
Okay.
So we are expanding the numbers of outreach to the foreigners.
Okay.
But also, like I say, a lot of people come to Tainan because they only know about those tourist sites in the old Tainan City.
Okay.
But we also try very hard to introduce some other tourist sites on the original Tainan counties.
Of course.
Because Tainan is the best place for this. But to lay the groundwork for the transportation, as you mentioned, is very, very important.
Yes.
In Tainan City, we don't have metro system. We don't have subway because it's not good for Tainan City to have a subway.
Okay.
You know, but we try to turn our bus transportation system into something like metro system.
All right.
So Mayor Lai Ching-te has redesigned the bus route after Tainan City merged with the Tainan County. So right now there are 7 new bus routes, and only one company operating those routes. Good. And we have tried very hard to make sure that those routes has reached out to almost every corner of the greater Tainan City. So when local people or foreigner, when they come to Tainan, if they got a map, they get to travel easily and friendly. If they want to go to every corner of Tainan City.
Good. And we know, a lot of people, including myself, will travel to Tainan, as tourists because there's so many things to see, so many things to do. Can you then tell us a little bit about what are some of the newer attractions that the Tainan City offers today? Please.
Yes, one of the newest concepts that we try to introduce to the foreigners and tourists is the so-called travel light.
Travel light.
By taking bus in Tainan City.
Okay.
So as I said earlier, we have designed 7 new bus routes in order to make people and the tourists easier to get to wherever they want to go.
Good.
And the most important thing is that following that 7 new bus route, you get to visit. Now, this is what we call Experience Tainan.
Okay. Good.
So through those bus routes, you get to visit almost every tourist site in the old Tainan City and the old Tainan County. Okay. Plus, you get to test the best food in Tainan, along with those cuisine, bus routes. Yes. So we come up with this kind of bus route, and it's divided by colors. It's very easy for you to take the orange line, the green line, you know. So, and then you get to test different kind of foods outside the old Tainan City, because most people know about is good foods from Tainan City, not the Tainan County. But in fact, there are a lot of more delicious food from Tainan County. Good. So this is the idea that we wanted to make the travel to Tainan City more friendly and easier. And so when people come to Tainan, just try to relax. You don't have to rush to take any kind of train, or you don't have to spend money to rent a car, you know. So this is how we try to attract the tourists.
Okay. And we also understand in January of 2015, you have a brand new private museum open. Please tell us a little bit about Qimei.
Yes. The opening of the so-called Qimei Museum in Tainan City, I think that's one of the new attracting sites for the tourists. I think that explains why in the first quarter of this year, the number of visitors come to Tainan increased. I would say a large number of them went to the Qimei Museum. And it's hard to get the ticket because you need to register online and get the ticket. And as far as I'm concerned, it's very hard to get a ticket. But the Qimei Museum, I think, has cooperated with Tainan City, the previous mayor, in terms of getting their compound, in terms of doing a lot of their designs. And we are glad to finally to see this world-class museum located in Tainan City. It is indeed a world-class museum because I have been to so many museums in the world. I found that Qimei Museum can be ranked
right up there.
First class, because it has a lot of unique collections.
Yes, that is one of the things I need to do next time when I go to Tainan, because I was there in January 2015, for the New Year crossover parties, and but I mean at that time the museum just brand open, and then there's a lot of people who couldn't get tickets, but certainly in the future. How about the other things, other than travel light by bus and also Qimei Museum? How about the other, other than the traditional, tourist attractions? What are some of the newer ones?
Even its new one, we try to inject new images and new viability into that. For example, most people, when they come to Tainan City, they want to go to the Anping district. That's because you got the Anping Fortress and others attracting sites. So most people, if you are going to Anping district in holiday, you will be jammed in there. But we also try to provide more convenient tool for the tourists. For example, in Anping district, we have provided the bicycles. You can rent a bicycle at a very cheap price, like a U-bike in Taipei City. So you don't have to drive car there or ride your motorcycle there. And so we can improve a lot of the traffic situation there. So we encourage people, because Anping district is not big. You can always ride a bicycle and take your time.
Take a leisurely walk.
Take a walk for half day, and you will always get good foods and good drinks there. So, even those old areas, we try to put new elements into it.
All right. And one thing of somewhat of a surprise to some people is that you also have in Tainan Hot Spring. A lot of people didn't know that, including myself, until a few months ago. That you actually can travel to hot spring hotels and resorts and enjoy a hot spring, a hot bath. Can you tell us?
It's on the northeast side of the greater Tainan cities. And the hot spring is different from the hot spring in Beitou, Taipei, or Wulai, Xinbei City. It's more of a mud hot spring. It's very good for your skin. So a lot of ladies, they want to go to this hot spring and to do a lot of spa. So we encourage these kind of things, and we have cooperated with the hotels in the area, hopefully to attract more people.
And also you do have some attractions for younger kids. For example, you have some animal farms, for children's amusement park and things. And how's that coming along?
That's also one of our target audience. When kids try to come to Tainan, definitely
the family
will come. So we're not just attracting single traveler. We want the whole family to come and then spend at least 3 days, 5 days in Tainan City. Also, we try to build up more friendlier playground for the kids. But I would also like that in terms of environmental protection. In the most recent year, there's also one of the rising attracting sites in Tainan cities, the Sicao. It's a small river, but with a lot of environmental protection kind of ideas injected into that. When you go there, it's like a Amazon River in Tainan City. It's shorter, but it's a green-friendly tour. You can take a small boat. And we have people explaining the green environment there. So the Sicao area with this kind of a tour is one of the rising attracting sites in Tainan City too.
And Shih-Chung, we also need to address some of the more traditional attractions. For example, in Tainan, Confucius Temple, and then Shikanlo, as you mentioned, in Anping District. And also you have some museum, the National Museum of Taiwan History. Can you tell us a little bit if there's been any, newer progress made in some of these traditional
those are the most valuable treasures in Tainan City in terms of the old things. In terms of Confucius Temple, in fact, it was established more than 300 years ago. In fact, it's a combination of a Confucius temple with the first school in Taiwan.
Yes,
It's what we call the 首府, 全台首府, the first school or studied auditoriums that ever been built in Taiwan, the island. So it's the most attracting tourist site.
Okay.
And just like 100 feet away is the National Museum for Taiwan Literature.
Yes.
Again, in fact, we are about to celebrate the 100 years anniversary of this building. You know, the building was built in 1916. Of course, the Japanese built it, and it was once the city government, or at that time we called it county government of the colonial period. And then later on in the 60s, we tried to rebuild it. And in the 90s, with the financial support from the central government, under the Ministry of Culture, we tried to reframe this building as the Taiwan Literature Museums. Again, the building was magnificent. It attracts a lot of people, and there has been constant exhibitions there, mostly focused on Taiwan history, Taiwan culture, and Taiwan literatures. So again, that's the one of the attracting sites. It's not far from it's a walking distance from the Confucius Temple, and Anping Fortress, like you said, also Chikan. Again, they are very close to each other. It's a walking distance, and again, it's Chikan Tower was one of the so-called administrative center inherited from the Dutch colonial period. One was in Anping Fortress, but it's very close to the sea ocean, so they have built up another one inside the city. So the Chikan Tower used to be one of the administrative center in the old days. Right now, again, it's right at the heart of Tainan City.
All right. And Shih-Chung, before we end this part of the program, suppose I have 3-4 days for taking a family vacation in the summer. I want to go to Tainan. How would you recommend? What are some of the must-sees and some of the places that I must go?
Well, I would strongly recommend you to find a hotel or a private hotel in the center of Tainan City. It's what we call Middle and West District, 中西区, because the location is very, very good. Like, it's a walking distance to almost every place in the old Tainan cities by walking distance. And you get to go to the night market and to test those delicious street food, all in walking distance. So that's the first day, or maybe the last day for your trip. And then in the second or third day, I would recommend you to take the bus to have your light travel light, by bringing your families. And also, we have instructed our bus drivers to be not just a driver, but also some sort of a tour guide. So whenever he stops at one place, he will briefly introduce you to the history of it. And plus, because the city government of Tainan has tried to put English as our second official language, so we've also tried to train our bus drivers and taxi drivers to speak a little bit English. So that when foreigners visit Tainan, they will get some instructions even from the taxi driver or bus drivers.
Shih-Chung, we're talking about the kinds of tourist attractions, traditional ones and the newer ones that we must see when we go to Tainan. And interestingly, that you mentioned that the government, the city government, is also promoting the use of English by implementing the program called the English as a Second Language, ESL program. Can you elaborate on the thinking behind the program, and also how do you expect that not only taxi drivers and the bus drivers can speak a little bit English, but also young school kids can learn English at an early age? How would that help Taiwan's overall image and the overall competitiveness?
Using English as a second official language of Tainan City is a bold initiative introduced by Mayor Liu Shih-Chung 2 years ago. We know it will be very, very daunting challenge, given the fact we have done some studies on, for example, Singapore and Hong Kong and other countries. But Mayor Liu Shih-Chung believed that it's a must-do things, not only for deepening Tainan City's international competitiveness, given the fact we have more and more tourists come to Tainan and also more of foreign investors, but also for Taiwanese citizens to increase their English proficiency and their capabilities. So the idea, it's a 10-year-long project. It's stage by stage. We have come up with short-term, mid-term, and long-term. And we have target for areas. For the private sector, like you say, hotels, hot spring, hotel people, and also taxi driver, bus drivers, and even the night market. Those shops. We provide training for them, easier access for them to learn English. We provide a menu, the bilingual menu for them. So that's one target audience. The other one is, like you say, students and teachers. We focus primarily on the elementary school and the junior high school. So the idea, I mean, it's a stage-by-stage project. We want certain percentage of students and teachers in Tainan City that can have a certain amount of English, pure English classes in schools. So hopefully by the time they graduate, they can speak, they can make a presentation in English. And also we wanted to increase the civil servants' English capability. So in Tainan City, very soon, we're going to have 3 sessions of English broadcasting every day.
Good.
So that even the Tainan City government employer will get to learn more English. So this is something that we put on the top priority of our goals. Hopefully that it will not just build up an English-friendly environment for the Tainan City, but also it can become one of the driving force for improving Tainan City's international competitiveness.
Yes, I will imagine that Shih-Chung, because you have so many years of experience in international and regional affairs. One of the reasons maybe you were asked to come to the Tainan City government is to help the city itself to become more international.
Yes.
Okay, and in addition to the ESL program, are there other things that maybe the city government is now thinking of doing, maybe not yet right away, but maybe 1 or 2 years down the line, that will make Tainan City more internationally visible and competitive?
Yes. Again, Tainan City Mayor Liu Shih-Chung has introduced another daunting agenda to Tainan City government. That is to make Tainan City the best low-carbon and green energy city. Well, Tainan City has already been awarded and recognized by the central government, the executive yuan, as the best low-carbon emission city in Taiwan. So we use this to try to reach out to the world. And recently, we have decided, in fact, it's an undergoing project, that we chose an area outside the Tainan City, the old Tainan City, to be used as a demonstration community for low carbon and green energies. We have accomplished all the law revisions and also land acquisition. So whoever is going to construct a new house, a new apartment in that community, we have to meet with stricter green energy and low carbon standards. Like every building will have to have a solar power panel on the roof. Every building will have to have some sort of a LED light or illuminations. And we have designed some small rivers in that community to cool down the temperature. So it will be the first attempt in almost every city in Taiwan to build up a community aimed at low carbon emission and green energy. And also, we are also in the middle of a plan on having more electronic cars or motorcycles in the city, so we can reduce a lot of pollution and PM 2.5.
Yes.
So those are the agenda that the current Tainan City government have been trying to pursue for.
Okay. Well, let's switch gear a little bit to talk about food, the local cuisine.
My favorite.
Yes. A lot of people, including myself, I was there, less than 6 months ago, and then my wife researched on the internet about all the things we must eat. For example, the milkfish, 石目鱼, and also, of course, the eels, noodle soup. Is there any, recommendation that you will make? And also, is there any efforts on the part maybe of the city government to try to come out with a list of things you must have when you come to Tainan?
Then you will have to invite me back again.
Of course.
To have this show. Well, you will never get a real taste of Taiwan unless you visit Tainan. You know, Tainan is so famous for delicious local cuisine and gourmet. The ones you just mentioned are the typical ones.
Yes.
But in fact, people come to Tainan, if you are a meat lover, definitely beef is something you cannot miss.
These are local cows.
Local, and local cows.
Okay.
And we produce fresh cut beef 3 times a day. 3 times a day.
3 times a day.
So even in the midnight, the third time was in the midnight. So don't get surprised if you see people in Tainan City enjoy meat soup in midnight.
Okay.
Because that's how Tainan people enjoy their local cuisine.
Cuisine, yes.
You know, and a lot of famous beef soup store, or like a meal fish store you mentioned.
Yes.
They open up they open their business in the midnight, like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then close their business by noon.
Yes.
So you will have to get up early in order to get in line to get to enjoy those. So beef and also others. There are a lot of new stuff, new cuisine. You definitely have to try.
Yes.
You know? Just Google it. You know, that's how the internet is so helpful. They always come up with a huge list of local cuisines and hotels and restaurants. So when you come to Tainan, definitely you have to come to very often. Otherwise, you won't have almost everything at one time.
All right. And also, Shih-Chung, we know that Tainan is now becoming more international. Then you're probably going to have more people coming from different parts of the world for visit, or some of them maybe even decide to stay and work. And would you think that there's also a plan by the city government or even by the private sector to try to have more international, for example, you already talked about language. Would it be possible, you know, that we will see more international restaurants, chains, you know, some of which, you know, well known in the States or in Europe, coming to Tainan? Is that something that also part of the economic development plan?
Yes, I think restaurant is one of them. I mean, I think a few months ago, the CNN has a special editions of the Tainan cuisine, local cuisine. They have identified more than 12 must-eat local gourmet. I think that has become international. I mean, we have seen more and more foreigners come to Tainan City to try to look at, you know, those delicious foods. In terms of attracting international investment, I would say that Tainan City Government in the past few years have also made tremendous efforts. Everybody knows that Tainan, we have this Tainan Scientific Park. Right now, there are more than 30 foreign companies. Japanese and American companies constitute the majority of it. And it produced more than 70,000 local jobs in Tainan City.
That's impressive.
You know? And that's the backbone of, like you said, to improve Tainan's international competitiveness. And right now, given the fact that the government is trying to focus more on green energies or low carbon projects, definitely we have received a lot of requests from American Chamber of Commerce, European Chamber of Commerce in Taipei. They all have expressed the interest in terms of working with Tainan City Government in the near future.
Okay. And finally, before we end this part of the program, we understand that, you know, Tainan is not only the cultural, historical city of Taiwan, but also is a very educational you know, city. You have some leading universities like National Cheng Kung University. And then can you tell us a little bit about some of the, you know, broader educational projects or plans that you have for the city government?
Yes, I think this is also one of the key agenda introduced by Mayor Liu Shih-Chung. I mean, he was a physician, he was a doctor. He's a kind of a doctor turned into politicians. So I think he has this different kind of mentalities when it comes to, you know, politicians thinking. He firmly believed that education is a foundation, not only for the city, but also for humanities. So he put a lot of resources and the budget in terms of, like, for example, improving our students, especially in the elementary school or junior high school, in terms of improving their English proficiencies, and as well as the civil servants. And we also try to, because the merger of Tainan City and Tainan counties, Mayor Liu Shih-Chung also tried very hard to reallocate the resource, educational resource, to the previous Tainan County, because a lot of schools are located in the remote areas, yes. and they got fewer, there are fewer and fewer students. Yes. So it's very important to balance the budget.
Of course.
So this is one of the key agenda that has been implemented by the Tainan City Government.
Good. All right. Thank you for giving us that very, thorough and detailed background about some of the plans that the city government is doing to try to promote tourism, try to promote education, and other things. Let's talk a little bit about economics. Tainan certainly is a city on the rise. It's full of potential. It's certainly, full of opportunities. And what's the overall economic vision that the city government has for the future of Tainan?
In addition to providing incentive for
yes.
foreign investors, like the project, the green energy or low carbon emission project that I just mentioned, I think Mayor Liu Shih-Chung and Tainan City Government have tried also very hard to through this kind of attracting foreign investment, hopefully we can get more revenues.
Oh, okay. Good.
5 years ago, when Mayor Liu inherited the merger of Tainan City and Tainan County, we have a 100 billion NT dollars deficit.
Really?
5 years ago, because the previous mayor, they keep building up a lot of things.
All right.
But after 4 years, Mayor Liu has successfully reduced the deficit by 20 billion NT dollars. He hoped that by the time he stepped down, hopefully he can balance the budget.
Okay.
But this the part of doing a lot of saving our money. But on the other hand, we also wanted to open up more incentive to earn money, to earn revenues. So when it comes to attracting foreign investment, that's the key. So I've already introduced the operation of Tainan Science Park. Yes. Right now we have attract more than 30 international companies, and there are more to come. Especially given the fact that we will open up new direct flight routes with Japan, with Osaka, and we have already had some with Hong Kong. Hopefully we have more, perhaps with mainland China in the future. So all in all, that constitutes our overall strategy to attract more international investors to come to Tainan. But of course, we have to build up a better city, a friendly city, and also more creative city.
Yes,
so that more and more people from outside Taiwan will come to Tainan instead of go to Kaohsiung or Taipei.
Yes, we understand, as you mentioned, about the Tainan Science Park. It is a very important component in the overall development of Tainan City. And we also mentioned earlier that you have some leading education and research institutions in Tainan, including Chengkong National University. And given all these number of factors come into play, do you see a bigger role being played by the science park in Tainan because you're able to attract more investment, more brain power coming to Tainan, and then trying to promote the local industry? What do you think?
Governing has always been difficult. When you try to allure or attract more foreign investors for business, then on the other hand, we will have to address some issues, for example, related to environmental protections, also labor rights protections. So it's hard to do. And on the other hand, when you try to further develop the cities, build up more buildings and auditoriums, exhibition centers, then on the other hand, you will have to address those issues to the citizens. When you try to urge them to move away from their home. So, but I think the Tainan City Government have been doing this in a very, very cautious way. I mean, Taiwan has become more and more democratic. Civil movement, civil group has been so vibrant recent years. So when it comes to governing the city, it's very important for the leader of the city to act with the civil group and also private sectors as a partner rather than dictating. So motivate rather than dictating is the art of governing in Tainan City. And I think Mayor Liu Shih-Chung has done a very, very good job in terms of seeking more cooperation and partnership with the private sectors, not just in the Tainan Science Park, but also with the civil group on the environmental issues, on various issues.
Okay.
There has been this kind of a persuasion, dialogue going on in Tainan City between city government and the people.
Mm-hmm. And given the fact that this is your first job as a local government official, how do you find the experience to be different?
Oh, all politics is local.
Oh, yes.
You know? Yeah, I've got some working experience at the central government before.
Yes.
This is the first time I work for the local government.
Yes.
I'm lucky that, you know, Tainan City Government has been, like I said, has been graded as one of the best cities in Taiwan, and Mayor Lai has done a terrific job. So my main responsibility as a Deputy Secretary General to Tainan City Government is to further help Tainan City to broaden its outreach to the international society. Okay. So a lot of city-to-city diplomacy have been going on. Good. Hopefully we will have more. Now, right now, most of our city diplomacy focuses primarily on Asia or US, but hopefully in the future we can reach out to European countries by taking advantage of those issues like green energy, low carbon emissions, and cultural exchanges. So those are the soft power, you know. So exactly. I think on that part, I think city-to-city diplomacy can be one of the substitutes of Taiwan's overall national foreign policy. And Tainan City happen to be doing a very good job.
Yes. And if we look ahead in the next few years, what are some of the things that maybe people who are watching our program today can expect from the current city government administration? Yeah. For example, we already talk about economic development, we talk about education, we talk about tourism. And what are some of the other areas maybe we can expect some greater things out of the city?
Tainan City is, like I said, it's the oldest city in Taiwan.
Yes.
And among those 6 municipal cities in Taiwan, Tainan City got the fewest share of a budget from central government.
Okay.
You know,
right.
So it's difficult. Yes. And then Tainan City is not that modernized like cities of Taipei or even Xinbei or Kaohsiung. So I think for Mayor Liu Shih-Chung, his first term has tried to lay the groundwork for the Tainan City. So he revised, he improved the bus lines. He also helped reinforcing Tainan's flood prevention mechanism, because every time when typhoon comes, Tainan will be flooded with water. So those are the groundwork. And then his second term, he's come up with a more ambitious agenda, like he wanted to build up a baseball compound for not only for Tainan, but also for Taiwan. Okay. You know? Tainan is one of the places nourishing a lot of baseball players. Yes. Wang Jianmin, the major league player Wang Jianmin, Guo Hongzhi are all from Tainan. And also he wanted to build up more exposition centers. Hopefully we can invite more foreign investors to have their meetings there. And we are not aiming at building up metro systems or other bigger buildings like the Taipei 101. It's not our idea, because no need to do so. We want to spend every NT dollars on the right way. So on the one hand, we try to save money. On the other hand, we try to make the best use of the budget that central government has allocated to us, to make the best use of it. And hopefully we can balance the budget. So that's the future key role that Mayor Liu Shih-Chung will play.
Another thing that people may want to know is there any plan on behalf of the city government of Tainan to try to have more interaction with other 5 leading metropolitan areas in Taiwan? Taipei City, New Taipei City, Taoyuan, Taichung, of course, Kaohsiung. Is there any, you probably have a lot of programs already going on, but are there any newer ones that we can expect?
Yes, in terms of low carbon emissions or PM 2.5 emissions, I think it's not something that Tainan City government can do by itself. We need cooperation with the neighboring cities and counties like Kaohsiung, like Jiayi, like Yunlin. Because Jiayi and Yunlin are the major victims of PM 2.5.
Exactly.
You know? So, and Tainan cannot simply get away with it. So on the issue of air pollution, this is something that cross-city, cross-county collaborations are needed.
Okay.
You know, and also on some of the, for example, the flood prevention mechanism, because Tainan, you know, every time when typhoon comes, you know, people in Tainan or Kaohsiung or Jiayi, they suffered from the flood.
Of course.
So we cannot just simply build up this flood prevention mechanism in Tainan City. Sometimes it crosses the border with the Kaohsiung City or Kaohsiung County. You know, so I think, yes, in many areas it requires cross-border cooperations.
Exactly.
And not to mention that currently those major cities and counties, Kaohsiung, Tainan City, Jiayi City, Yunlin City, are all governed by the opposition Democratic Progressive Party. Okay. So it's easier for them to come up with joint projects and work together.
All right. And we have about 2 minutes left. Shih-Chung, I want to ask you something personal. We understand that, you know, even though you're, you know, relatively speaking, very young, but you have been a government official at the central level, and now, of course, you're working for the local government. And you have been a scholar. You go to many meetings, academic conferences, and you are, you know, the visiting research scholar, fellow, and, you know, leading institutions like Brookings. And you also have been a party official for the DPP. Of all these different roles that Shih-Chung you have played in your career, which one did you enjoy the most and why? Okay.
Well, those are the once in a lifetime opportunity for me. I mean, working for the political party, working for the governing party, working at a research institution center, or working as a political commentator. I also write a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm working at the local government. I think I see this as like I say, once in a lifetime opportunity for me. I never expect to work at the local government, but I found that every day there are new things.
Of course.
You know? In the city government's weekly meetings, I learn a lot of things from my colleagues who are in charge of water resource allocation, from the urban developings, even from the fire department or from the police department, you know, in terms of how to crack down the violence or in Tainan cities. All those are local stuff, but it's closely connected to people. So all politics is local. That's very, very important. Okay. So I think in this regard, I personally learned a lot of things. I think I treasure this opportunity. Hopefully, I can get to know more about local politics. Okay. So I'm not sure whether I will have a chance working for the central government again, but definitely this experience helped me a lot.
Good, and we're certainly looking forward to greater things from the city of Tainan, also better things from, you know, Shih-Chung yourself. All right. Wish you all the best in future, all your professional and personal endeavors.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you for watching our program today. I'll see you next time on MacReview Television. Thank you.